Many goddesses and gods are gathered at a place. A god comes on stage and announces that the goddess Ristarte has been given the task of saving the world with an S-ranked difficulty level. She was far behind the other gods and goddesses, but the task given to her may not be cleared by the other gods. She is very feared. After this, she sits and thinks about what to do. She sees that her stats are too high. Ristarte decides that she will summon this hero, save Gabrande, and become a high-ranking goddess. She summons a hero named Seiya to help her. The hero is exceptional in every way, but he is incredibly cautious. She tells Seiya that if he dies while fighting with the Demon Lord, he can go back to his world. Then she calls him and says that there is a great adventure waiting for him, but he refuses to go. And he starts his training to fight against Demon Lords. Ristarte doesn't understand what he is doing. Then he remembers that it is written in his status that he is very cautious. Even after this, she goes to the goddess Ariadoa and tells her that the hero she has summoned keeps training all the time. The goddess asks her about the food and places he eats. Then she comes back to Seiya, brings food for him, and asks him to ring the buzzer to call her whenever he needs it. After a week, Ristarte hears the sound of a buzzer and goes to Seiya's room. She checks his level, which has reached 15. The goddess is very surprised to see this. Then they reach Gabranda using a dimensional gate. After some time, a small girl named Nina comes to them. She asks her the way to the blacksmith, and she tells them the way. Then they go to the weapon shop and buy 3 sets of armor. Then he goes to the next shop and buys many things. The goddess says to Seiya that they are going to encounter low-level monsters. Then they see slime, which Seiya attacks and breaks into 2 pieces. Then they see Chaos Machina, the heavenly king of the Demon Lord. Rista checks her level, which is very high. Both Rista and Seiya start running. Chaos uses her power to chase them. A huge explosion occurs and grabs the attention of Chaos Machina, and taking advantage of this, they both start running away at the same time. The goddess opens the door to the divine realm and starts going there. She attacks the chaos. Because of this, she backs down, and they both go inside the divine realm. After this, she takes a magic crystal ball and asks what trouble is going on with them. A magic crystal ball shows the face of Machina. She sees that Chaos Machina is in a village and kills everyone every 10 minutes. She says to Rista that if she doesn't come there in 10 minutes, she will kill everybody. She goes to Seiya and tells her to hit. But he refuses because he is not yet ready. She tries to stop him. She sees that Chaos Machina is going to kill the father of a little girl. She says to the girl that she will kill her. Seiya is ready to go to Gabrande. His level has now increased to 21. Seiya uses a slash and puts her away from Nina's father. Chaos sees his state, which is 21. She uses her evil curse ability and changes herself into a big monster. She attacks Seiya, which causes a lot of destruction. But Seiya manages to stop her attack. The goddess tries to see his state with her eye magic, but she can't. Because they are locked, she uses her full power and learns that he uses a fake-out skill, and his states are 37. She is surprised to see this. Chaos Machina flies into the sky and is going to kill people, but Seiya activates his finish drive skill and finishes Chaos Machina. The goddess asks him why he doesn't tell her about his fake magic. He says that because he doesn't trust her. Meanwhile, villagers come there, and Seiya collects the pieces of Chaos Machina and uses Hellfire. All the villagers start running from there. Mare comes to them and tells them to leave. Seiya says that he looks like a demon who wants to kill the villagers. When they are talking, they hear the voices of Nina and her father. Then Goddess tells him to go to the next town, but he wants to go back to the Divine Realm for further training. Seiya asks her not to waste his time. Then they go back to the Divine Realm with the help of the Goddess Portal. Goddess Rista tells Ariadua that her hero defeats Chaos Machina very easily, but he is doing his training all the time because he has to fight with demons to rank up. At that time, Seiya comes there and says that he can't level up and needs their help. The goddess Ariadoa gives him the idea to get help from a divine god. They go to a place where a god is training. The god's name is Cerseus. Ariadna asks him to train Seiya. Cerseus says it's difficult to train him because he is a human. Seiya says, "Let's see after training." Both start training, and both are approximately equal in power. After 1 day of training, the goddess asks Cerseus about Seiya's training. He says he is doing well. The next day, she again asks about him. Cerseus says to himself that Seiya has become much more powerful in only 2 days, and now he cannot defeat him. He is looking very tired. After a few days, the goddess goes to Cerseus, who is sitting in a corner and looking very afraid. He says to the goddess that her hero is much more mad. He trains all the time but doesn't stop. Meanwhile, Seiya comes there and calls him for training. He cries loudly and says that he doesn't want any more training, but Seiya starts to drag him along. Then Ariadoa comes there and calls Rista. Goddess Rista goes to the goddess Star, and she says to Rista that she has to go to Gebrande with her hero, and Rista agrees. When she goes to Seiya, she sees that he is continuously beating Circeus. He stops him and tells him they are going to Gebrande. He says that he is 100% ready for it. Then they reach the city of Gebrande. They go to church, and Rista sees Elulu and Mash there. She says that they are their partners. Seiya throws holy water on the priest of the church, and he becomes a monster. Seiya uses his common sense because he recognizes him. Seiya cuts off the priest's body and kills him. He attacks in church, and the priestess becomes upset to see her church in that condition. Seiya comes out of the church, and Mash and Elulu are happy to see him. They say that the hero is overpowered. They want to join them. The goddess checks their level. Mash's level is 8, and Elulu's level is 7. That is too low. The goddess says they will become their best partners because they have a dragon bird, but Seiya says that they are useless. Seiya says to Mash and Elulu that they are both useless. Mash says they start helping him when they are level, but he continually tells them that he does not need anyone. Then a knight comes there with his men and asks about the condition of the church. The priestess says that it'll be done by Sunday. The knight says to Seiya that they have 200 knights. Seiya says he does not need anyone. Seiya asks all the knights to stay in the village to protect the villagers. Then he took Rista with him. Seiya's speed is very high, and they reach the place where the demon's army is coming. Seiya uses his magic, and all the demons are killed. He learned this magic while training with the Saracus. The goddess was stunned to see his power. Elulu is searching for Mash, and she comes to Rista and tells her that Mash has not been found anywhere. They go to Seiya for help and see that he has made a sword with goddess hair, and he wants to try more. Then someone brings something for Rista, and when she opens it, it's a mirror. When she looks carefully, she sees Mash. The Heavenly King appears in the mirror and says if they don't come within 10 minutes, he will kill Mash. Seiya asks the goddess to open the Divine Realm portal and then uses his platinum sword in the air. The arm of the Heavenly King has been cut, and he is stunned to see this. Then they enter the Divine Realm. Rista takes Seiya to the goddess Ishtar, who shows them the way to reach Mash. He uses his hellfire, and Rista goes to Mash and saves him. Seiya fights with a strong ghost. Rista uses her skill to check his states. His state is 74, which is too much. The Heavenly King says to Seiya that he is not ready, and he has to be defeated. Seiya says that he is 100% ready for the battle. Then he uses his fire magic and his ice magic on the ghost. The ghost is frozen. Heavenly King was surprised to see because of the ice magic and fire magic. Seiya tells him he uses this magic due to his bracelet. He made this bracelet with the goddess's hair. He says that he also has lightning, dark, and every type of bracelet. Then he looks at Heaven's King and destroys him completely. Elulu and the other people are sitting with Mash, who is deadly injured. When he comes to his senses, Elulu hugs him. Meanwhile, Seiya comes there and says that Elulu and Mash will carry his bags. Mash says that his level is too low, and he has to train to level up. Seiya tells them they have to move on. A dragon brought Elulu and told the villagers that Elulu and Mash would join a hero to defend Gaiabrand from evil. That is the dragon's realm, and they will get a mighty weapon there. All of them reach the Divine Realm, where they meet with Circeus, who tells them that he left the sword. Now he is working in the kitchen. Seiya says he doesn't want training. He tells him to train Mash, and Circeus agrees to train him. Then they took Elulu to another goddess for training. When they are walking, they meet Valerie. Seiya says that she can train him. Goddess Ariadoa took him to Goddess Ardenlea for training. Goddess Rista meets Ardenella and asks about Seiya's training. She is looking tired, so Seiya should come there and call her for training. When their training is completed, Ardenella comes and tells Seiya that she wants to go with him, but he doesn't focus on her talk. He tells Rista to open the divine portal. When they reach Gebrande, all the monsters die due to his art. They reach a monster's village where everyone lives quietly, and then they go to the shop and buy some torches. They reach the dragon's realm with the help of Mash. Seiya opens the seal with his magic. They enter inside, but Seiya is very cautious. A guard is waiting for them to take them to his leader. Everyone knows Mash and Elulu and praises them. Then they reach the Dragon Queen, who tells them that they came here to save the world. She says to Mash that his level is low. She gives him some power and he changes himself into a monster. She tells him that he can transform into a big monster. He has a state of 16. Then she called Elulu. She says to Elulu that she has to sacrifice her life for the sword, and that sword is the realm to kill the Demon King. Elulu gets completely silent when he hears this. She thinks she has to sacrifice her life only for a sword, which is not a good thing. Seiya is taking all of this seriously. Everyone is shocked to know that Elulu has to sacrifice her life. The queen tells them that the Dragon's King girl has to make a sacrifice to make the sword. She also says that they don't have time, and Elulu agrees unwelcomely. All of them spend time with Alulu because she will be sacrificed in the evening. Then they see that Seiya is not with them. He goes into a shop to buy something. He says to the goddess that he is not concerned with Alulu because it's her destiny. Everyone is eating a meal and the queen asks everyone to get ready. Alulu comes there to sacrifice. Mash can't see all this. He tries to save her but the guards attack him and force Alulu to come with them. Seiya comes there and kicks the guards. The goddess and Mash get paralyzed, and the queen says to them, this is due to the cookies they eat. But Seiya's not paralyzed, and he says this because he doesn't eat anything made by others, and only eats things made by Rista. Queen transforms into a monster and attacks him, and she has a high level. She says, no one can't defeat her. Seiya takes out the Dragon Killer sword and attacks her. He says to her that he is not a fool to enter a dragon city without taking a Dragon Killer sword. She activates a curse that is connected with Alulu's necklace. Seiya says that he gives her a chance to stop this curse, otherwise he will kill her. But she says this curse will only stop when she is killed. He attacks her with fire. Her power becomes half due to this attack. But she transforms herself and says now any of his magic can't work because it's her special ability. But Seiya takes out his other sword and uses the internal sword technique. He continuously attacks her, and the Dragon Queen tries to stop him. To see Seiya's power, Dragon Queen tries to run. Suddenly, she falls from the edge, and the other dragons stood on the edge. Then Seiya comes and takes the sword, and some of Alulu's blood for the sword. The sword changes to a platinum sword. Then he says to the dragons that their sword is ready, and they have to go back home. When they come back, the goddess tells him that the sword is not real. He only does this to make them fools. When they come out of the cave, they find many knights looking at them. Imperial knights come to take the hero with them because their captain Rosalia is fighting with the demon lord. Seiya asks them the way to her. Soldiers tell Seiya that the Beelzebub is a demon and looks like a giant fly. Seiya says that he wants to see them before the fight. There is a big demon with these giant flies. The head of the flies kills the soldiers and asks about the hero. Mash asks to help them and Seiya says that there is no need to get too excited. He tells me the speed of normal flies is also very high, and these are demon flies. They go to meet Captain Rosalie. She is very happy to see and tells everyone that the hero has come to save them. A soldier gets up and says they can't fight right now because they're too tired. Then they go to the Empire. A soldier who is praising his empire says that the flies can never come because their empire is protected by the powerful person of Gabrande. When everyone starts making fortuitous strategies, Seiya says that he feels as if an enemy would sit with them and listen to them. Or it can also happen that someone plants explosives here so that he can listen to everything they say. Rosalie gets upset and says that it is enough. Now they will fight straight with demons. Seiya says he wants training for a few days in the divine realm. Captain Rosalie gets angry and says that he was watching silently when her soldiers were killed, and he says yes. He says she is not strong enough, that's why her soldiers died. Rosalie takes out her sword. Rista says Seiya apologizes to her. Seiya tells her to open the door of the portal. In the divine realm, Rista takes Seiya to Metis for training. Then he starts his training. He takes Mash to another trainer. After this, Ariadoa tells about Ardenleia and that she wants to kill Seiya. After that, Rasta goes to Ardanella's house and learns that she will kill Seiya. It is written on every wall. Rista comes to Seiya and tells him, but he tells her that Ardanella's is standing behind her. He comes to Arundel and tells her to leave. Then she becomes a normal cell to him, and she forgives him. Metis was looking at them. Rista and Ariadoa are talking about Ardanella and Seiya. Arya takes Rista to Mash and Alulu. Mash introduces his powers to Rista. Alulu gets sports magic, and she can speed up anyone and make someone speed very slow. Then Ariadoa tells Rista about Metis, that she is very dangerous for Seiya. She is much more harmful than Ardenla. She is punished for living in the divine forest, and she can't come out of the forest. Rista is confused to hear this and starts running towards Seiya. When she reaches the forest, Seiya had already made her condition bad. All of them were stunned to see this. Then Rista opens the divine portal. When they reach Gabrande, the soldier tells them that Rosalie goes into the forest to fight with demons. When they reach the forest, they see the heads of the flies. Rosalie challenges the head for a fight. Seiya says that he can't see such a fool like her. Rista goes in front of the head and says to leave Rosalie. The head understands their plan and flies over the sky, and Rosalie falls but Rista catches her. Seiya attacks him, but he easily dodges it. His attack changes into an arrow magical bird, and they beat the Beelzebub. Mash and Alulu praise him. Rosalie says to him that he is very cowardly, but he beats the demon. Then he tells Mash and Alulu to defeat a demon. They are very excited. Elulu speeds up Seiya with her magic, and he defeats all the demons. And then she speeds up Mash so that he can easily collect the dead body of Beelzebubs. He uses Hellfire and burns all flies. Rosalie comes there and tells about legendary armor in a nearby village. That is useful for defeating demon lords. The soldier tells him that their knights are taking care of the armor. Rista opens the divine portal. When they reach the village, all the village is destroyed. They see a big demon there. When he tries to attack, a person comes and says that he summons this demand. His name is Giant Turtle. They know he is the one to whom they buy torches before going to the cave. He is one of the 4 heavenly kings named Kilkapul. He already sees Seiya and Rista during the adventure, and now he wants to kill them. He says that he summons this turtle to destroy legendary armor. Then he says, no one can defeat the demon lord. Rista, Seiya, and others are standing in front of the Kilkapul. He says he doesn't want to fight. He tells them that he killed his family members, then villagers, and now he is going to kill himself. Then he becomes a powerful summoner. Then he dies, and a monster appears there. Seiya uses a double wind blade, which is broken into 2 pieces. They open the portal and come back to the divine realm. But the Green Reaper monster comes behind them. They all fight with the Reaper monster, but can't defeat him. Seiya takes advantage of this and starts running. Goddess and others are also with him. He meets with Ardenella and asks for help. She gets angry and attacks, but in vain. Seiya says all of them are useless. Then he goes to Valkyrie for help. She is painting. The monster comes and demolishes her painting. She uses her magic on the monster. She has 999 levels and lock him in a gate. After that, she falls. Seiya tells her to teach him this magic. She says that any normal man can't do this magic because it's very harmful. Rista agrees with her. Then Valkyrie goes out from there. Seiya made a sword with goddess hair. That is very powerful. Goddess is happy to see his intelligence. Then he goes to Valkyrie for his training. Cerseus tells Rista that the goddess Star is calling her. She asks goddess Star why she calls her in such a hurry. She tells her that she has information about Gabrande. Demons are going to take an attack on the capital city of Gabrande. When she is ready to go, Estar says she should wash and then go away. The next day, Rista goes to goddess Ariadawa's home and asks about Mash and Alulu's training. Mash is now ready to become a dragon. Then she comes to Seiya and Valkyrie they are training. She is weeping because she can't help them. Then they open the portal and enter in Gabrande. When they reach Gabrande, there is a team of knights, and on the other side, there is a team of heavenly kings. Heavenly King, and on the side of humans, the War Master comes for a fight. The War Master attacks the king and breaks him into pieces. Then he kills all demon kings in the first attempt. Then they come to War Master. Goddess tells him to help them to kill the demon king. Then suddenly, he changes into a small child. The War Master does not like anything when he becomes a child. Seiya says to the goddess to check his state. He is on the level of 7 or 8. He has different childish skills. Rosalie comes there and takes her father to Cassel. Then she says to the goddess to come with her to Cassel. Seiya says to Rista to be cautious. Then he goes to a shop, and the shopkeeper tells him that his medical herbs are better than his magic. When they reach Cassel, Rosalie tells them her father's War Master has been fighting with demons for 30 years. And once his father's War Master was fighting with demons. When they reach there, they see her father become a child, and they don't know the reason. But Seiya says he doesn't need his help. When they are talking, a knight comes there and informs them about the attack. Seiya goes with the knight for a fight and tells the master to stop in the castle, and tells him to take care of the goddess and others. Then the master shows his Cassel to the goddess and tells about the demon lord's weapon that is used to kill gods and heroes. Then he takes out his sword and tries to attack Rista. He says that when he goes to fight with demons, he gives him the power to become a child. Rista starts weeping. Suddenly, Seiya comes there and attacks the master, but he is saved from this attack. Master is surprised to see him there. Seiya says that he already has doubts about him. War Master laughs when he hears this. He eats a demon castle given by the demon lord and becomes young. Now his states are 90. Seiya gets injured, and he uses his medical herbs. Rosalie says to help, but Seiya tells them to keep standing there. He attacks the War Master with his sword. Rista comes to heal his wounds. Then she heals War Master too, so he may talk with his daughter Rosalie. Then he says to his daughter that he loves her a lot and wants to live with her. Then he dies, and Rosalie becomes queen there. When Seiya is sleeping, the goddess asks Mash and Alulu to go out for a party, but Seiya gets up and asks them to take some rest. Mash and Alulu go out to a party. Goddess is very happy, and Mash, Alulu, is afraid to see her. Goddess, Mash, and Alulu go into a boutique. Then they buy something to eat and enjoy it a lot. Then she thinks about Seiya. Because he does not come to them, she goes to different medical shops, but he does not find any anywhere. She meets with Ariadne and Star. They tell her Hero goes to kill the demon lord in Gabranda, and he says he doesn't think of Rista as a goddess. The goddess says that Seiya has a low state, and he can't defeat the demon lord. Estar tells her that Seiya has learned Valkyrie's magic. That is very harmful. Estar shows them a picture from 100 years ago. When Ariadne summons a hero, it is Seiya. Seiya comes to them and tells them to go for a fight. Diana says to him that they are not 100% trained, but he asks him not to worry. Then they reach here and fight with a big monster, and Seiya gets injured. After seeing the picture, Mash says that they can't believe that he is Seiya, because he is very cautious all the time. She says to them that it's reality, and Seiya never hesitates to fight with any monster. Princess Diana and Seiya are saying that they beat all monsters except the Demon Lord. The next day, they fight with the Demon Lord and Seiya kills him. Then he suddenly wakes up and eats one of their team members. Then, after he eats all the members, Seiya tries to stop him, but he has no strength to stop him. Everyone starts weeping except the star. Goddess Ariadne says, this happened because of her. If she tells them to do their training, then the star tells Rista that the princess whom he can't save is Rista. She says that's why Seiya's become overly cautious all the time, because he already faces the bad results of his past, and he does everything very well, so he escapes bad results. She also says that Seiya has all these memories that are hidden in his heart. After this, Goddess Rista runs fast for Seiya, but Arya stops her and says she doesn't want to lose her again. But she opens the portal toward Cassel. Estar says she may be punished for that act, because she is only a sports goddess. Then they all go to the castle. The goddess thinks if she can't save Seiya from the demon, then she would like to die with him. When the goddess reaches the demon lord's castle, she sees Seiya fighting with the demon lord, and he uses a gate from Hela. The gate appears there and catches the demon lord. He tries to come out of the gate, but he can't. Then he falls and the goddess comes to him. She tells Estar to give her power. Estar says that she must be punished for that. She says she knows that, but she wants all her power now. Then she uses this power to save Seiya and heal him. They see that the gate has not disappeared yet. He is all right now. Meanwhile, the demon lord has come out of the gate. Seiya stands up and uses the gate of the well, and the demon lord gets into the gate, and Seiya starts breaking. He knows that no one can save him. Rista tries to heal him, but she can't, and she starts weeping. And she says, why can't she help him? Ilulu says to go back to the divine realm, but she says they can't do this. Seiya tells her to stop this, but she doesn't stop. She hugs him and says she lost him in the past, but now she doesn't want to lose him. Then Seiya gets to remember some memories. He looks at her and thinks she is similar to Prince Diana. He says that he is happy to save Diana because he couldn't save her in the past. Then he breaks into pieces in the goddess's arm and flies away in the air. Then she goes to Rosalie in Demon Lord Cassel and tells her all things. She says that she can't believe it. Then the goddess comes to Mash and Ilulu and tells them to stop in Cassel, and she has to go into the divine realm. She says goodbye to all of them and moves back to the divine realm. She is a bit upset in the divine realm. Goddess Ardenlea comes there and says that Goddess Estar calls her. Then she reaches the goddess Estar, and she says that she was called here to give her punishment. She has to save the world if she can't. Then she will be removed from the position of goddess. She gives her list of heroes to those she could summon. When she checks the state, they are similar to Seiya. Then she comes to know that he is Seiya. She smiles and thanks the goddess.